Done, sir.
Yeah. All right. We'll start the session now. So good evening, everyone. Myself, I'm Dr. Prashant Gowda, Secretary NNF Karnataka Chapter. So as we were continuing the webinar series on how to rebuild the hospital or in a cost-effective and most efficient with high quality of health infrastructure. So continuing that, today we are having three talk by a very experienced person who have got vast experience in the field of health infrastructure, and they have been handling doctors, they have been handling the business, they have been handling a lot of things. So they understand the health infrastructure better. So we've got three wonderful speakers today. Mr. Rahul Agarwal, on behalf of NNF Karnataka, we would like to give a warm welcome, Mr. Rahul.
Thank you, sir.
We have our friend, Mr. Balaji, who is also very senior most and got excellent experience. So on behalf of NNF Karnataka, I would like to give a warm welcome to you, Mr. Balaji. So we have a third speaker, Mr. Kiran. So all the three speakers today, they'll be talking on topic of insurance and neighboring industries, attachments, do's and don'ts, government schemes, Ayushman Bharath, insurance and government schemes according to the chartered accountant and financier's perspective. Is it benefit for the hospital or not? So three most important topic which will help in keeping the balance sheet in a positive note. So we have for today's session, we have our moderator, Dr. Ajay. Dr. Ajay is a senior most faculty and a senior most person we have got vast experience in the rural part of Karnataka, and they have done phenomenal job in terms of services, in terms of understanding the health infrastructure and how to utilize the health infrastructure in a most effective way. We have him as a moderator for today's session. So on behalf of NNF Karnataka, I would like to give a warm welcome. We have two panelists, Dr. L.H. Bidri and Dr. Shivan Gowda Patil. So on behalf of NNF Karnataka, a warm welcome to you as well. So today's session will be moderated by Ajay, and I request Ganesh ji also to facilitate the session. Now I request Dr. Rahul, Dr. Ajay to give a brief introduction about our first speaker. Followed by that, I request Ganesh ji to introduce the other two speakers. Over to you, Dr. Ajay.
Thank you, Prashant, for giving me this wonderful opportunity. It's a pleasure to introduce Mr. Rahul Agarwal. He's the founder CEO of Ideal Insurance. Ideal Insurance is his brainchild. He's a qualified CFA and MBA from SP Jain Institute of Management. He ventured into insurance business in the year 2001, and he's an accomplished leader in all practical terms by virtue of his talents, qualitative skills, and abilities. His brilliant, agile marketing skills have not only enhanced the position of the company, but and also has resulted in this organization bagging several prestigious awards all around the world. He has not only earned a successful and professionally managed business house for himself, but has also been and has successfully met the aspirations of all the stakeholders as well. And with this very brief introduction, I would like I request Rahul Agarwal to take over with his first talk, and he'll be talking about government schemes. Sorry, he'll be talking about insurance and neighboring industries attachments, do's and don'ts, not to how to take. Over to you, Mr. Rahul Agarwal.
Thank you, Dr. Ajay, for the kind words. First, I'm truly honored, and it's a pleasure to be here. More for a very personal reason that I have immense respect for the entire medical community. I'm in the COVID area, in during the current times, of course, people have realized all the more. But yeah, I have always revered the entire medical community, because I know the kind of hard work that goes into being a medical practitioner. So I'm truly honored to be speaking to this community today. Now, the first question today is why are we speaking on insurance? Okay, of course, the insurance and healthcare is it's a very related and linked area, but still, why insurance? So let me start with the statistic. In 88% of cases in India, whenever there is a hospitalization, right? So mark my percentage, it's 88%. People either has to sell off their assets or they have to take a loan to finance their healthcare. Right? So with such a grim situation, no country can ever progress, right? Because not only access to a good healthcare should be a birthright for every citizen, right? But it creates a lot of economic problems, a lot of pain in the society, and at the same time, it's a huge opportunity lost for the entire healthcare system as a whole, right? So insurance is one of the most important way on how the entire healthcare business can be grown from a business perspective as well as from a social perspective also, right? It's a most important need today for the healthcare industry to grow in every way, and we'll discuss that on how they are very much interlinked. Let me give you a very good example, okay, from uh, uh, so in fact 10 years back when Barack Obama won the election in US, I'm sure most of you might already be knowing, his main agenda was something called Obamacare, okay, which was providing basic health care to most of the US citizens. And because of that policy, it is widely accepted that that was the key turning point on why he uh, won the election, right? Because this is again, as I said, a very important need that the society has. And if you see, even in India now, with all the state governments and even our honorable Prime Minister, a couple of years back, have launched the healthcare scheme for the bottom 40 crore population. So now this again, one incident has changed the landscape of the entire healthcare industry. Now, so see how providing insurance to 40 crore people who cannot afford insurance has changed things. So as a part of the program, each family gets 5 lakh rupees of healthcare. Now, those same people who could not have afforded going to a hospital, forget going to a good hospital, right? Now can get good treatment. Now can get well, right? At the same time, it brings a lot of funds in the healthcare industry to grow. We all know that our healthcare industry, despite being pretty advanced, still lacks that kind of infrastructure because despite being a population of 130 crores, there's still a long way to go. Right. So I, coming from the industry and seeing how the industry has been growing, I think the insurance business and the healthcare industry has to go hand in hand to not only for the growth of the industry, the healthcare system as a whole, the industry as a whole, and it is very important for the economy overall, because in the end, if a country cannot provide basic fooding and healthcare to its citizen, the other thing does not matter much, right? Uh, Now, in this COVID has changed one thing. It has just brought all this more in the forefront, right? The problem was still the same. The problem still remains the same. Just that now people are much more sensitized towards it, right? Much more sensitized towards also buying more insurance. I mean, we have seen a huge drastic change in the last 6 months towards insurance. Our health insurance premiums have shot more than 100% in the last 6 months without any additional effort from our side, right? Because people have realized because of this one single incident how important health insurance is. Now, let me give you my own example, right? Before this pandemic, we never used to insure our household maids or servants or drivers, but during COVID, the government has pushed all the insurance companies to come out with this Karuna Kavach policy, and many people have insured most of their employees apart from insuring themselves. Now, so if God forbid anything happens to them, now at least they can have a basic good treatment, right? So it's a great start, so of course there are a lot of bad things which has happened because of COVID, but at least in the long term, this is one small silver lining that we can see, that it will give the insurance industry a boost, and it will make people understand that how insurance is important. Now if everyone has insurance, and if tomorrow people are suffering from COVID, they can easily afford, right? They don't need to go to just any hospital. I mean, at least they will get a proper treatment, right? And we have seen that. In fact, even the number of claims have gone drastically high in the last 6 months. The average number of claims compared to last 6 months. So while all the other claims have come down, but healthcare claims have grown up almost 30% compared to last year, right? So so health insurance. As more and more people take health insurance, more funding will come in the healthcare industry, because I mean it'll increase the business directly. If you see last few years, now a lot of hospitals have tied up with insurance companies and fixed up rates, right, for different kind of treatments. Even that has given a lot of boost to the healthcare industry. A lot of corporates have tied up with hospitals. A lot of employee benefit programs have come up. Okay, again, so every any development which is happening in the insurance industry is directly affecting the healthcare industry. So now what you as professionals can do, right? The first thing is that you yourself need to understand how important the insurance is, how important health insurance is. And not only health insurance, we'll discuss some other also basic insurances which are needed in your industry. For example, now most of you are medical practitioners, I am assuming. Right now, as medical practitioners, sometimes things may go wrong. Okay, and as our society is turning more and more legal, as more and more legal cases are rising, right, you need to be protected. So again, there are covers which are available for medical practitioners called professional indemnity policy for doctors and other medical practitioners, which is a must, right? So if you are not taking, that's a very important cover that you need to take if you are already into practice, or if you are starting a practice, or even if you are starting a hospital. Now again, even if you are setting up an infrastructure for a hospital, even as a hospital owner, you need to have adequate insurance cover, because if anything goes wrong, how the population, how the crowd is in India. People take a minute to just go berserk and start destroying the assets, right? Even if something has happened to a patient which might not be the fault of the hospital or of the doctor, but if the crowd goes unruly, right, there's nothing to save. So a hospital owner or anyone who's running a medical system needs to take a cover against all this kind of risk, right, which could be a basic asset risk. You have crores and crores of equipments are very expensive in the healthcare system. Even a small damage to your equipment can make the equipment useless, right? So you need to cover the equipment against any kind of damage. You need to cover the hospital against any kind of damage, right? And you of course need to cover the medical practitioners against any kind of liability claim that may arise. In fact, I'm sure most of you might also be knowing about the incident which happened in Calcutta, where because of a fire, a lot of patients died in Emory. Now that again was a huge insurance claim. Had there been no insurance, the hospital could never have come back on feet, right? But they had a proper insurance cover. Now it is of course debatable on whose fault is, but ultimately, if there's no insurance, that hospital would have been shut forever, or for that any other hospital. So such incidences might not be very frequent, but there, to whomever it may happen, there's no other way to protect apart from insurance. Okay. So now again, you as medical practitioners, one more thing that you can do is create more awareness about health insurance in your community, with the relatives, with your patients, right? Because you are people who influence decisions, right? People look upon to you. So you can do your basic bit in creating more awareness about the importance of health insurance. In fact, now good thing is even in so previously 5 years back there was not much innovation happening in the health insurance, but now a lot of innovation has happened in health insurance. Now they are cover available for even cancer patients, for diabetics, for every kind of problem there is some kind of cover available. In fact, even there are covers where if somebody wants to go and get treated abroad, even those kind of covers are available. So insurance companies are continuously evolving, coming out with very innovative products in the market. Okay, so you should promote it to wherever possible, whomever possible, right? And yeah, I think it's a matter of time. People are getting aware. Things are changing. This literacy is happening. So I think it's a matter of time that each and every citizen of India will have some kind of health insurance, and that is when I feel the health insurance, the entire healthcare industry will really come into its own shape. So yeah, I think this is it from my side, and I hand it over to the panel. And if there's any question, I'm more than happy to take now or after the session.
Thank you very much, Rahul Agarwal, for stressing about the importance of health needs, a hospital needing insurance, also importance of health insurance for everybody. And I request all the audience, if you have any questions, doubts, or any clarification about the insurance, Mr. Rahul Agarwal will be
Yeah,
more
we
than
will
willing
take up
to
the questions after
questions
three
later
talks.
after
Three
the
talks.
two other topics.
Yeah.
And we'll move to another topic, a very important topic for today's discussion. This is on government schemes, Ayushman Bharath, and this will be delivered by Mr. Balaji of GenWorks Health. And to introduce him, I request Mr. Ganesh Prasad of GenWorks to kindly introduce him to the audience.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ajay. So it's a pleasure to welcome Balaji, who's an expert on this topic. No, he's just not an expert in this particular topic. Balaji's expertise spans 30 years in the healthcare industry. He has done several roles, grew the ranks, starting from sales to product management to managing international business, and right now he is heading the digital initiatives. It's always been one significant thing about Bala, significant
Ganesh ji?
credit that. Yeah, yes sir. Yeah, can you hear, sir?
Yeah. Please kindly introduce our speaker. Over to you.
Yeah, okay. So was I not audible before?
Yeah, you were audible. Ganesh.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, one significant, mention that I need to make about Balaji is about his ability to read the market trends and his ability to quickly understand and institutionalize strategy and implement it quickly to be able to support customer growth. He's always been a customer-centric, leader, and especially insurance being one of the biggest, growth opportunities. It's just not a growth opportunity for the healthcare business by itself, but we all know it's a means of saving livelihood. It's not just saving lives, but also saving livelihood. And this is a very important initiative that the government of India had taken a few years back, when they launched the Ayushman Bharat scheme. And in COVID times, more than ever, we understand, how important, having some form of insurance and government-supported insurance for people below the poverty line has enabled, healthcare access and care for the many people. So Balaji right now is a co-founder and heads the commercial operations and strategy for GenWorks. He also, heads our digital initiatives. So now over to Balaji. Balaji will speak on Ayushman Bharat as to how we have to understand this. It's very important that any government scheme has to be understood in the right way. We can't obviously get everything that we want in a government scheme, but it's a good first step to have. It's a good beginning to have, And Balaji has researched Ayushman Bharath in depth, and he'll be the right person to speak about this. Over to you, Balaji. Balaji, I think you're on mute.
Please, yeah, please unmute yourself.
Thank you so much, Ganesh, for the kind introduction. Can I get the access for my screen, please? Can you? Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, not yet, sir. Singh.
Anviti, can you give access to Balaji for the screen?
Sir, he can share.
It says your request for control was not accepted. I'm requesting again. Are you able to see my screen now?
Anviti, are you there?
Yeah, sir, I'm here. I can't see the screen. 1 second.
Yeah,
Can I send Balaji? Can I send Balaji slides to you so that you can?
Rahul Agarwal, are you still there? Could you please stop sharing your screen, please? Rahul Agarwal. Maybe that may be the reason why he is not able to share his screen.
But I just hold on. Let me see if I was. No, but I don't have the screen access to me as well.
I think I can see whose is this? Rahul. Yeah, you can do one thing. You can just click. You can click on that the third share button, share trace there, na? Over there you can click, Mr. Rahul. Or Singh, can you stop sharing?
Shall I let me log off and?
Sir, you can just click on that small cross.
Yes. After mic option.
Are you able to see now?
Anviti, I have sent you the file. Is it possible for you to?
Yeah, okay, so 1 second.
I think I've got control.
Yeah.
Are you able to see now?
Not yet, sir. I think you can try now.
Yeah, I just tried, and it says I got control, and in fact I get an option called stop control, which means that I should be having control now.
But I think it still shows up the cross. Why don't you click the cross and redo it again? On the tab, it's still.
Balaji, you have to minimize the team Microsoft window. On the background, open your PowerPoint presentation. Minimize the Microsoft team window. Then open your presentation.
Yeah, I've done, sir.
Now again, you maximize your Microsoft window. Click on the open share tray. So you will see that desktop window and PowerPoint. If it is open now, can you see PowerPoint? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we can see now. Balaji, go ahead.
Please go ahead.
Sorry for the delay in this technical glitches. Very sorry about it. So thank you once again. Thank you, Ganesh, for the introduction, and thank you. Thanks to NNF Karnataka chapter, Neo Gurukul, for giving us this opportunity. I really thank Dr. Prashant Gowda for helping us to put this together. Thanks to moderator Dr. Ajay and also the panelists Dr. Bidri and Dr. Shivana Gowda. And I also thank a lot of all the NNF Kannada chapter executive committee members for giving us this opportunity. So basically today I'm going to talk to you about the government schemes and particularly on the Ayushman Bharath and also give you idea on what a hospital requires to deliver such government schemes and what kind of challenges hospital will face and how to overcome such challenges. Now these are going to be some of the key areas which I'll be focusing on. So if you look at the Ayushman Bharath, basically just to give you a very high level glimpse on what is this Ayushman Bharath all about. Ayushman Bharath is the national health policy, and you all know that it was started in September 2018 launched by Prime Minister during the one of the sessions, and it covers 5 lakhs per family per year as an insurance scheme. It is aimed to cover about 50 crore people. It has certain predefined criteria, both in urban and rural. It has certain economic criteria and also certain other criteria, and it covers about 1,350 packages, the surgical procedures and packages which are part of the Ayushman Bharath package, which has about 23 medical specialties. So it covers wide range of medical specialties, wide range of procedures. And previously, there were a lot of government schemes. State government had multiple schemes, and it has kind of integrated all the programs run by the state government schemes. And so it is a kind of support and complement to the state government. So today, Ayushman Bharath and the government schemes, state government schemes, have kind of merged and integrated in many states. I would say in all the states they have kind of merged. So this how it started, and there were 2 main categories. One is the essential category, which is basic nursing home, basic facilities, which can do certain basic procedures, and it also had an advanced category, which had super specialty and specialty procedures. And this advanced category and essential category requires certain standard of care to be maintained, be it infrastructure, be it nursing care, be it medications, be it hospital infrastructure. So there were a lot of requirements to be met to be empaneled for essential category or to be empaneled for the advanced category. So it clearly gave guidelines for both essential and advanced category for any hospital to be empaneled and deliver the care. So that was the progress for the last 2 years. And if you look at, the last maybe 3 to 6 months, there has been quite a bit of changes in Ayushman Bharat and the government schemes, especially post-COVID situation. The number of hospitals empaneled has gone up. We see everyday reports and the dashboards from PMJ that even there are about 50,000 COVID patients that have been treated under Ayushman Bharat. There has been a lot of changes in the approval process and the schemes, and few areas where government has come up and made improvements and current changes is one of the key areas to develop health and wellness centers. So Ayushman Bharat CEO and PM and the health department announced that they will be converting all the PHCs and some of the CHCs to health and wellness centers. More than primary health centers, it will be health and wellness centers. So there is a detailed roadmap which is being developed to convert them into the health and wellness centers. And recently, there has been a very big change, very big announcement which has done, that government is planning to cover missing middle scheme. So missing middle scheme is, if you look at the criteria for Ayushman Bharat, it is covering about 50 crore people, and these are certain criteria, certain economic criteria, certain social status, and certain urban and rural criteria has to be met for coming under the Ayushman Bharat. So what missing middle insurance coverage does is, this is extended. Ayushman Bharat package is extended to other people, maybe other 30-40 crores of people who are not covered under Ayushman Bharat because of their better economic status, better social status, or they don't come under any of these criteria. But they can pay on their own to the insurance companies and avail similar Ayushman Bharat packages, and they can avail the Ayushman Bharat insurance premium which was negotiated by the government of India. So this again opens up a huge opportunity for people to get insured who are not part of the Ayushman Bharat package, but for a very small premium which was negotiated by the government, they can now get empaneled. So there are a lot of private insurance companies which have started working on these packages, and you will see in the next maybe few months that this only keeps increasing, and the number of hospitals which was being empaneled will only grow more. Right? And if you see what is the future and what Ayushman Bharat, especially in terms of making it more digital, is planning is again, now the government has announced a digital health card. So you will see one card for the population of people. So if they have a card, and this will have all the medical records and all the medical history of the patient, so it can be accessed from any place. So this project is going to be kicked off very soon. And like National Health Rural Mission and National Health Urban Health Mission and Rural Health Mission, government also has formed National Digital Health Mission. So National Digital Health Mission is going to be a national body, which is going to create the digital health strategy for the government of India, where it's going to form a very comprehensive appointment to prescription strategy in terms of how to make a single window platform to get appointment and prescriptions in one place. There are a lot of focus on infrastructure and IT tools when it comes to the digital strategy for Ayushman Bharat. And of course, the government is working on the standardization of claim processing, because today the processing of claims, you know much better than any of us, is not very standardized. And I hear from a lot of hospitals that it takes a lot of time, and also there are a lot of delays and procedural issues. So there is a lot of work government has promised on standardization of the claim process. So these are basically the fundamentals of Ayushman Bharat. Now, how it started, what are the different categories, and what is the current focus area of government in Ayushman Bharat, and what is the future in terms of digital. So if you look at some of the numbers, you see that 12.59 crores of people have already been empaneled or already been issued Ayushman Bharat card. So it's about roughly 25% of the actual target population, which is 50 crores. Out of this, 7.9 crores is empaneled directly through Ayushman Bharat, and about 4.7 crores of people were issued cards through various state government schemes which got merged or which got supported through the Ayushman Bharat. So totally about 12.6 crores of people covered. But 23,250 hospitals have empaneled in Ayushman Bharat. So it has grown a lot in last 5 to 6 months, and every month we see at least close to 1,000 plus hospitals getting empaneled in this scheme. So this will only grow, and about 1.3 crores of patients have got treated through the through the Ayushman Bharat scheme. So this is basically fundamentals of what the scheme is, and how many people are there, and what is their future. So now it becomes very important for hospitals to deliver this scheme, because this is going to make very fundamental change in the way healthcare is going to be driven, because not only the 50 crore of people which was supposed to be covered by Ayushman Bharat is growing, and you will see 40-50% of the population of India is getting covered under Ayushman Bharat, maybe in the next couple of years. But also another 20 to 30% of the people who don't have corporate insurance, who don't have insurance on their own, also will get covered under the missing middle scheme, which they can pay on their own, which is very affordable, and getting covered under this. So typically, every hospital now will have at least sizable amount of patients, more than 50% of the patients coming under this scheme. And so it is very important to understand how to deliver care. What are the requirements to deliver care under this scheme, right? So if you look at the hospital requirements, there are basically what we have done is we have categorized this under 3 different requirements for hospitals. One is diagnosis, treatment, and infrastructure. So typically, when the patient comes to a hospital, you will have pre-screening procedures, and then you upload the reports and get approvals for the treatment or for the surgical procedures which are part of the scheme. And then once the approval comes, the procedure is done. And post procedure there are certain post procedure there are certain tests to be done. And after that the patient is discharged, right? So for the diagnosis you need to have pre and post tests which can be done effectively as per the scheme. And so for that there are a lot of devices, devices which are required for the for doing the diagnosis of the patient to be qualified for the procedures. There are a lot of allied services which are required. It can be a lab test, it can be pharma, it can be nursing care, it can be any of the imaging, non-imaging services. So there are a lot of services which are associated to the diagnosis, which again the hospital should have, or hospital at least should be tied up. For example, if you look at the lab service, either the hospital should have their own lab, or the hospital should be tied up with a NABL accredited laboratories, right? So these are very important criteria, and proper documentation has to be maintained, because the reports, everything has to be uploaded on the Ayushman Bharat website and also produced to get the reimbursement and to get the claims. And finally, training and staffing. Staffing is very important, and training them on certain procedures and certain diagnostics is very important. So coming to the treatment part, definitely, the inpatient hospitalization is very important requirement for the hospital, because they need to really understand allocation of beds, allocation of various procedures, and how patients to be treated, in these scenarios, because there are a lot of procedures which predefines number of stays, number of days for the patient to stay. So you cannot make the patient to stay for longer days. You cannot make the patient to stay for lesser days. You have to really fine tune your care in order to accommodate within that stipulated process or stipulated requirements by the Ayushman Bharath. And of course, now you can make these patients to stay longer, but the reimbursement will not be extended. It has certain very pre-specified, pre-approved cost, reimbursement cost. So hospitalization, understanding the, hospitalization needs are very important. Clinical procedures, what kind of procedures to be done, and what are the requirements for clinical procedures is very important. Intensive care, again, a lot of procedures which needs ICU facilities have certain standards of requirements, and all those things have to be really understood, because again, intensive care is something which lot of hospitals, I would say, really have challenges, right? Because hospital having 6 beds of ICU, 7 beds of ICU, or 8 beds of ICU, or will require full-time intensivist, will require the staffs will require that kind of equipments, ventilators, monitors, which are quite expensive. Hospitals which does lot of complex procedures, which has larger ICU, which can manage more number of patients, can invest. But hospitals which does not do complex procedures has to really understand how to manage the intensive care. And finally, the human resource for the treatment. The theater staff, the intensive care staff, the nursing, the doctors, the specialists. There are a lot of human resource requirements which are there for treating the patients. And finally, coming to the infrastructure requirements, hospital infrastructure itself is a big requirement. You all know about it as doctors, how challenging or how important it is to have the infrastructure in place, right from the real estate, having the cost of the real estate, the location of the hospital, and all the way to the building and the structure, and also the entire infrastructure of the hospital. Capital equipments, the equipments which are required to do these procedures, equipments which are required to do diagnosis, are very very cost consuming, and they are all very much required, because if you have to if you have to deliver certain quality of care, and if you have to deliver certain procedures, you need to have those equipments. There has to be a lot of IT infrastructure in place, computers, internet facility, and all the other IT infrastructure, because now those are required to manage the patient, medical records, and also they are required to upload the claims and get the entire documentation in place. So electronic medical records, record management, now the finance, claims, getting the claims, and all the other support requirements. So basically, hospital has to manage all these things as per the guidelines of Ayushman Bharath to kind of deliver, on one side to deliver as per Ayushman Bharath, on the other side really to deliver a quality of care to the patients. So these are predominantly required for delivery. But if you see, definitely there are a lot of hospitals which has a lot of challenges, and there are a lot of hospitals which already has certain standard of care, which already has certain infrastructure mainly to deliver for majority of the procedures. And there are a lot of hospitals where they have been doing certain amount of procedures, but if they want to expand, if they want to do more procedures, they have been doing only 40 or 50 procedures under Ayushman Bharath. They want to now do 100 procedures. So they want to expand more, care. So there are a lot of challenges. Now, the challenges are, number one is cost of treatment, because when you look at how much reimbursements are happening, now what is the reimbursement cost for a procedure and how much you end up in spending for that procedure can be very challenging, right? Because if there are a lot of procedures where whatever a private hospital will charge for a private, I would say non-Ayushman Bharath or out of the pocket or other insurance, backed patients, may be very different. It may be even double the cost, because that is what the hospitals, are spending to deliver that kind of care. But under Ayushman Bharat, you can even get 50% of the actual cost. Now, what is incurred? So the cost of treatment is very challenging. The human resources, because in order to also contain the cost and also to get better experts, better staff, and better people, human resources is very challenging. The cost of infrastructure, or the building that infrastructure. It can be equipments, it can be even the other infrastructure, IT or any other infrastructure. It's a challenge, and of course the equipments, capital equipments are very challenging. So you have to build a very good infrastructure. You have to have very good staff. You have to have very good specialists. You have to have excellent quality of care, but you have to come under the Ayushman Bharat, uh, cost. So that is the main challenge, which many hospitals face. And I would say that this is similar in many sectors, whether it is a service sector or banking sector, or it can be an airline, tourism, hospitality sector. There are a lot of similar challenges. Of course, not government reimbursement cost, but the cost to be contained, and they have to deliver very good care. This is faced, but in hospital it's very important, because it is life and death of patients. We are treating the patients, so it's very important to overcome these challenges and at a reasonable cost drive a very good quality of care. So there are certain solutions which are being, I would say, practiced and adopted by many hospitals today, but not all the hospitals. So what kind of solutions are today available, for you to deliver a good care at a reasonable cost? Is you can look at various business models. Now I'm going to cover all these three in subsequent slides. I'll take about 5 minutes. So you can have various business models. There are a lot of cost optimization models which you can adopt, and there are a lot of telehealth models which you can adopt. So these are fundamentally three models, and if you're able to mix and match according to your where you are, according to your care, according to your infrastructure, according to your needs, I think you will be able to optimize the cost and deliver a better care for the affordable cost for the patients. So coming to the first one, on the various models, you can have multi-specialty hospital, it can be a super specialty. There are a lot of hospitals which also does managed services, right? So they allow certain private players to come and manage some of their services, like it can be imaging service, right? We have seen in many hospitals where they ask some of the imaging centers to come and put their CT or to come and put their MRI and run the MRI. But hospital will have their MRI, hospital will have CT in their premises, but it will be run by another diagnostic player who's well known in this space and who knows how to optimize the cost. But still the hospital will have the facilities available within the premises. So managed services are available. Hub and spoke models. Now there are a lot of hub and spoke models which are available, where the hospital can deliver certain amount of care. So it can be a tertiary hospital, but in order to get more patients, they can have multiple spokes for the primary care. So the primary care will be delivered in 20 centers, and they get more patients to their tertiary care center, which is the hub for delivering the treatment. So hub and spoke models are available. Outsourced services are available. There are a lot of hospitals which provides outsourced services. Like for example, it can be a very high-end lab, uh, investigation, right? For which you may have to invest, let's say, 50 lakhs worth of equipments to run this test, and you may have only, let's say, 20 patients in a month. So you don't have to invest, but you can say no to the patient. So it can be outsourced service. So these services can be outsourced to a bigger lab or bigger diagnostic centers, which has this tests, and you can get the test done through them. So it can be either super specialty, single specialty service. It can be a multi-specialty service, or you can adopt managed services. You can adopt hub and spoke models. You can adopt outsourced service, and you can have the mix of this. So through this, you can deliver all this for effectively. You can deliver diagnostic and lab service. Now, mix and match of this. It can be managed service. It can be outsourced service. It can be hub and spoke. You can have, for example, if you have a world-class NICU, one of the best NICUs all of you have. So you can have a hub and spoke model for the OBG. So tie up with a lot of gynecologists, and that can serve as an hub and spoke model for you. So the delivery happens there. So when you are tied up with 40 gynecologists, which you already do, there can be more deliveries happening in their centers, and the neonates, which requires the level 2 or level 3 NICUs, can be referred to your place. So a lot of such models are available. Medicine and consumable is another criteria where you can adopt. It can be shared service. It can be done through these managed services. It can be done through outsourced services. The inpatient and non-critical service again can be delivered through these models. Intensive care and surgical procedures can be delivered through this model. So these are multiple business models which are available for you to deliver quality of care. And coming to the optimization, cost optimization. If you see, these are the packages which are available in Ayushman Bharath. Basic package cost about 500 rupees per day, and you have a special neonatal care package, you have an intensive care package, you have advanced neonatal care package, and also you have the discharge package or the daycare package, which is more for the high risk or preterm babies. So these are different packages. So but to deliver this kind of care, you need a lot of equipments. You need to have a lot of equipments in your ICU, a lot of devices. The investments are very high. So on one side, what you can do is to align with these packages. You want to deliver the special neonatal care package, you will be reimbursed 3,000 rupees per day. What are the requirements? How to align to this package? What equipments are required? And again, when it comes to the equipments and devices and consumable, you can have a partnership model. You need not have to. What I mean by partnership model is, typically what happens is a lot of hospitals end up in buying, if they require 10 equipments, if they require 5 devices, if they require multiple consumables, maybe 30 to 40 consumables, they end up in having 20 to 30 different companies as vendors. So, and each company has to make their own profit, because each company has people, each company has infrastructure, each company has their own deliverables. And so what you do is you end up in paying 20 companies different pricing, and you end up in paying more. But if you have partnership model with one or two big companies where they can deliver, let's say 60% or 70% of all your requirements, so that company's model will also be more partnership, because you are giving more business, and their profitability also is not going to be for 20 companies. It is going to be for one single company, right? So you can develop a lot of partnership model to optimize the cost. You can get into the outsourced services. You don't have to invest in all the equipments. Wherever you see less number of patients, you can outsource those services to the other diagnostic or other hospitals. You can optimize the cost through a lot of logistic support in terms of patients going there, or the tests being taken. So you can do certain tests, they can do certain tests. You can optimize cost through a lot of logistics. A lot of hub and spoke models, connected ecosystem hub and spoke models can be done. There are a lot of primary care centers can do certain procedures, can do certain tests, and the hospitals can do certain tests. So the if you have multiple spokes, what happens is the number of patients going to each and every center will be increased instead of having only one center. So you can develop that. There are a lot of financial models. In the previous build and rebuild sessions, you have seen there are a lot of financial models, capital, finance models, lease models, pay-per-use models which are available. So you can optimize which equipment I have to buy, which equipment I have to lease, which equipment I can take in pay-per-use model. There are a lot of functional management support, right? So there are a lot of organizations which can provide you HR, finance, admin, because you don't have to hire 40 people to run your HR and finance. You can optimize. You can have 1 or 2 people. You can outsource this management support to other companies. They may put people on part-time job. They can manage some of this, outsourced, functions. There are a lot of consultancies you can approach for expansion. If you want to expand, there are a lot of companies, even some of our companies like medical companies, like medical equipment companies can help you to do a lot of consultancy and IT and digital support. You don't have to invest in all the IT and digital services. There are a lot of support services which are available, which you can optimize. So these are various ways, to optimize your cost. It can be a partnership model, it can be outsource model, but you can work on a lot of ways to optimize the cost, bring down your cost. You don't have to invest everything on your own. You don't have to have everything in your premises to basically be more cost effective. And finally, coming to the telehealth models, there are a lot of telehealth models which are available. You need to basically adopt to some of these things. You need to have certain connected devices, so your number of nurses can come down. So you don't need 2 people, 3 people to operate devices. If they are all connected devices in Internet of Medical Things, in current situation, one staff can manage 4 or 5 devices, right? So there are a lot of connected devices like that, lot of health tele models which are available. If you have cloud EMR and record management, you will have very proper records. You don't have to have lot of admin staff to maintain records. If you have remote specialist and interpretation services, so your for example, if you have a pathologist, right? If you have a radiologist, so there are a lot of specialists who don't have to be on full time. So if you have a telehealth model, certain tests can be done in your hospital and it can be uploaded on cloud, and they can do the interpretation sitting in their own place, right? So the cost will come down for you. They don't have to come. You don't have to be they don't have to be in the hospital for 5 hours or 6 hours. So the cost will come down, and also it is more efficient. And there are a lot of AI enabled predictive models. So it can give you, like for example, we are working with a company which will give you prediction model on the newborn baby, the preterm babies, right? So you can, in the 3rd trimester, you can predict whether the baby born for the expecting mother is going to be a preterm baby or a normal delivery, right? So using this, you can develop your infrastructure. You can have a lot of predictive models. We can support you in getting most of these things, and make it more digital friendly, make it more cost effective, and make it more efficient. So these are the 3 different optimization models which are available. And so finally, to close my slides, so you can provide end-to-end service. These are the very effective ways of delivering. Now you don't have to restrict yourself. I can do only this. I can't afford to have all the tests done. I can't afford to have all the procedures done. You have to provide end-to-end service. You have to leverage various business models available in the industry. You have to do a lot of cost optimization through human resources. There are a lot of telehealth services available you can utilize. A lot of outsource models you can utilize. Bring down the infrastructure cost. Make it very profitable financial model. Because a lot of things are associated with this. If you do telehealth, your profitability will go up. If you provide end-to-end service, by doing blood tests, your profitability can go up. By doing certain imaging procedures, your profitability can go up. So you can build a lot of profitable model. You can look at having one-stop vendor solutions instead of having 20 companies and paying profit for 20 companies. Have not one or two companies which are very reliable in the industry, have one-stop vendor solutions, so that it becomes more partnership model, and keep upgrading your technology, because the old technologies will cost more money to maintain. So once a technology is 3 years old, the cost of maintenance is more, and also it delivers you less less results, and it is not very effective. So keep upgrading your technology. So these are various aspects which you can look at to deliver very good care, and there are a lot of there are a lot of very effective methods available, and which will help you to serve the patients under the scheme, make it more affordable, make it more cost effective. At the same time, become a best in class care for the patients, and you will also be profitable. So these are the points, the few things which I wanted to share with respect to the government schemes and Ayushman Bharath. And thank you so much for again the time and patience to listen to us, and giving opportunity given to us. And sir, over to you, Dr. Prashant.
Yeah. So thanks Balaji, and I think it was very insightful. It's very important that we understand what government offers as opportunity, to expand healthcare access. And all of us know very well that affordability was one key factor, and affordability comes from the ability to pay. And without an ability to pay, it's impossible to be able to. I know healthcare is a service industry. It's more about providing holistic services, and but still, for running a hospital and to be able to provide good and quality service, we need we need to have some form of payment coming in, either from the patients or from government or from insurance or wherever. And it's also a way of benchmarking quality of care. It's just not about empowerment, and as Balaji rightly said, it's not about empowerment for just insurance, but it also is about bringing in quality and affordable care. So, which is what everyone wants to deliver, and which is the need of the hour. So, with this, I think it's very important that the next session will be very intriguing, because it comes from the fact that it's very important that cash flows have to be maintained, and as the financial expert, and as the most of the times is the chartered accountant in your hospital who determines the investment versus return ratio. And while you provide the medical care, the advice you take advice from the chartered accountant or a financial expert, to be able to make sure that the hospital is able to run profitably. So Kiran is the best person to speak on that, because Kiran is a CA and an MBA. He's a CA by qualification, but he, by virtue of working in a MNC like GE, which is itself Ivy League school in terms of management studies, he's an MBA. He's an MBA as well. So he can very well articulate how you have to put process and controls and checks in place, to make checks and balances in place, to make sure that you know what you're doing, and you are not overdoing anything. But business growth view is also very important. It's just not important to contain cost. It's also important to invest for growth. So I think the topic that Dr. Dinkar and Dr. Prashant, the NN of Karnataka, had laid out was very interesting. In all of the sessions, you will find an internal view, an external view, and an expert view. And this clearly is this is needed for holistic decision making. Views from various experts, are very important. And Kiran is one expert that you can count on. When it comes to growth, and also to make sure that we only do the right things. So over to you, Kiran.
Thank you very much, Ganesh, for the kind introduction.
And thank you to the Karnataka chapter of NNF, Dr. Prashant, Dr. Dinakar. Happy to be here. And thank you very much for the opportunity. Is it okay if I can share my screen? You able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so welcome everyone, and thank you very much for your time on a Sunday evening. So I'm going to start with some good news. After a very long time from an economy or from a macro perspective, we are seeing, increased collections in GST. That means the government has collected almost 95,000 crores versus 91,000 crores even last year, same time, right? And this number had crashed to 32,000 crores. So that's the kind of pain that we had to go through over the last 6 months. But the September numbers are out, and it seems like we had a decent September from an overall standpoint. Secondly, the railway freight has gone significantly up. That means a lot of supply chain is moving. It's grown over 15%. And the auto industry has seen a fillip, which is one of the most affected industries over the last 5-6 months. They have grown 25% month on month versus August, as well as 30% year on year. What this also tells us is people are placing a little bit of premium on self-driven cars and on their own safety, and that holds a lot of value for us in the healthcare segment as well. So without further ado, from a government initiative standpoint, the view from the healthcare sector has always been, especially over the course of the last 3-4 years, there's been quite a lot of tinkering with respect to stent pricing, with respect to capping of prices and so on, and also not too much action on creating our own local manufacturing base to bring the cost down with respect to technologies which are predominantly import driven. Right. So while that stays as fact, what we will talk about is some of the actions or some of the things that have happened over the course of the last 6 months, and what does that mean? And I've reached out to quite a few, like Ganesh mentioned, the CFOs of different hospitals, the leadership team in the financing institutions for what their views and their perspectives with respect to government as well as the healthcare sector is, and I'll lay in front of you a few of the points that have come from those discussions. But firstly, from a government initiative standpoint, the government, has been pushing the Atmanirbhar agenda or the self-reliance, agenda. And at the core of that has been the MSME, the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, to such an extent that they've changed some of the defining factors, and they expanded the scope to bring in more and more enterprises into the ambit of this. And whatever benefits are being launched, they are being launched through this pipe. So first and foremost, one of the most important things is whether there are benefits today or not. This is going to be the focus, and with increased transparency and digitalization happening, more and more will be pushed through this. So, the first message from the financials for sure is please get yourself registered as an MSME, so that when the schemes are launched, these are all automated and they reach you on an automated basis versus going and asking for the support. Second, a lot of fiscal stimulus that has come has largely come in the form of increasing liquidity, right? So many of you may already know this and may be taking advantage of this as well. There is a emergency credit scheme which provides for increased working capital to the tune of over 20%. And there's a moratorium in terms of principal, and then this can be repaid over a period of 3 years subsequent to the end of 1 year, right? So that gives a scope for liquidity creation. There are also schemes that are running till the end of 31st October, where your already existing loans, the interests for the last 6 months can be repaid over the next 6 months, right? So instead of paying 1 month over the next 2 months, you can end up paying 2 months. To provide relief as and how things come back. And even term loans, they can be restructured tenure can be added. It can be extended to a maximum of another 2 years. So, for example, if you have a loan running for 5 years, you're in the third year, you can add another 2 years to the tenure and get some more flexibility over there. Right, but having said that, one of the key things over here is to make sure that we use these very contextually. While they may not have a bearing on the cash flow, they definitely would have a bearing in terms of how the bank views you and so on. So if it is possible, please go ahead and pay your moratoriums, pay your interest repayments and so on, such that when things come back, or when the banks are in a position to take bets or provide credit, the people that have been paying properly even during these tough times will automatically qualify to be the priority sector for them, right? Naturally. So the other thing that has happened from an IRDA standpoint, Rahul talked a lot about insurance. This is something that has seen a significant growth over the last 4 or 5 years. What it essentially means is things are getting more and more structured. We heard in Balaji's presentation about how Ayushman Bharath is, giving insurance cover. Now we are talking about the neglected middle. How do we get them? But fundamentally, even the private sector has come up with a lot of insurance covers in the current scheme of COVID to cover employees, to cover healthcare workers, and so on. But one point that has made entry into the IRDA policy during this time is that it even covers a situation where when people are quarantined and care is given at their home, right? Even those expenses are covered. Historically, insurance only covers 24-hour hospitalization and so on, right? So there is one structure for that. But there is this minor thing that has come in, that for the purpose of COVID, you can even look at work from home. And essentially what this means is, as things get more and more digitalized, more and more transparent, there's a potential that this daycare and from home care as well, get a lot more, importance, given that they can be at a lower cost, and given that the entire effort is to bring more and more people into the ambit of, insurance. Other thing government has also done is reduce the income tax rate for corporates down to 25%. It used to be upwards of 30 to 33. They've brought it down to 25. To encourage investment, and also to encourage more and more transparency, right? And we do know the fact that the telemedicine guidelines, which have been on the shelf for many years, overlight has been released. And this means that the whole aspect of digital health and creating an outreach and providing care via the digital means is now a formal way of actually delivering healthcare, which is recognized by the government. So these are some of the initiatives that the government has launched. But from a financial perspective, one thing that comes out very strongly is for the healthcare sector to increase the transparency and the kind of cash flow that can be taken through the books, and the importance of that, especially in the current scenario, is like in any industry which has seen transparency, more and more benefits, whether it be through the MSME model, or whether it be even the financial institutions taking more and more aggressive calls to lead growth. The people that are the most transparent or that are bringing their cash flows into their books. While it's not intentional, it could be a matter of changing some of the ways, using some of the digital models that are available. It's even possible to connect some of these with the new banking options that are available. Connect bookkeeping to the systems of the financiers or the banks, whereby a lot of transparency comes in, a lot of visibility comes in, and with that a lot of support also comes in, right? And one of the things that they welcome are the digital solutions for the reason that I already talked about, and the more number of service lines that get added to a hospital or to a nursing home operation is welcome, is seen in a very positive way, because that that reflects in the robustness or the flexibility, and most importantly the ability to provide critical care during these times and after these times as well, right? And last but not the least, insurance and financial products can be seen as an enabler of healthcare. So today there are options that are available where at the desk of hospitals, these are already happening in larger hospitals, larger corporate hospitals, the more progressive infrastructure, the healthcare delivery providers of scale, where they have options of financing the patients as well. They have a desk like similar to how you walk into a store to buy electronic goods, consumer goods, and so on. They have a desk which sort of provides the patient's ability to finance their own healthcare needs and repay over a period of time. And this hastens the need or the action from the patient's end to undergo a healthcare intervention earlier than later. And similarly, I guess my presentation has. I'm just going to put the presentation back on. So similarly, can you see it again? Looks like somebody else took the control of this. Is it visible again?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, it's visible now.
Oh, fine. So I was saying that insurance and financial products definitely are enablers of healthcare, and this provides the ability or the it improves the ability of the patients to walk into structured, high quality care and to be able to afford them versus postponing the decisions later. And one of the things that we are also seeing now is that over the last 6 months, there has been a lot of pent up demand. Interventions have stopped, elective surgeries have stopped, and those are coming back to those healthcare providers which have demonstrated their ability to manage, healthcare even during COVID times. While initially there was a fear that if you end up managing COVID cases, nobody else will touch you. But what is happening on the ground right now is those guys are able to demonstrate their ability to manage COVID, as well as now and once they've shown that their fatality rates or their managements are within reasonable limits, they're also getting patients who who have been holding up this pent up demand. And it's only for so much period of time that a diabetes patient or a somebody with a chronic condition can hold on. They at some point in time will need to come into healthcare facilities, and that will happen in those facilities which are already upgraded, which have the ability to manage that. So these are some of the messages that we get from a financial perspective on how they look at healthcare, and what are some of the trends that they're seeing. Especially vis-a-vis the government measures also that have come in, right? From a chartered accountant or a financial management perspective, we try and look at everything within two lenses, right? So at the end of the day, obviously, cost plays a big role. The cost of operations and how much cash we have absolutely plays a big role. But the future is really about how are we going to boost growth. In a recent study, while manufacturing has been enlisted by McKinsey and some of these other top consultants that are advising the government as a number one focus area, healthcare is right up there as well. Healthcare is seen for the country as one of the most exciting growth sectors. If we are able to get high quality care, if we are able to do innovation, modeling using a lot of technology, and also sharing some of the expertise that we have, and use that to sort of attract, medical tourism both within the country as well as from outside. This is listed as amongst the top 3 sectors and as a growth booster for the entire country, right? So similarly, when we look at it from a financial management standpoint, the first thing that we look at is, maintenance is one aspect, but fundamentally, all maintenance has to be paid for revenue lines, right? So what options are available for hospitals to expand revenue lines definitely becomes important. So if you're not getting surgeries or treatment of one type, are there screening and diagnostics of another type that can come in? If you are not able to get in, walk-ins, a lot of hospitals, such as yourself, I'm sure already pivoting to, teleconsultations and so on. But can you add another layer of telemedicine, which, creates interoperability? And what I mean by that is to acquire the data from there and provide it to the specialists that can opine on it. So it's a coordinated care across the ecosystem. So, you take advantage of your strengths and you draw from the strengths of another to be able to increase the level of care that, a hospital or a nursing home is able to provide in the current scheme of things. And this clearly seems to be the way to go, because this is the only way that new lines of revenue, new services, whether it be diagnostics, whether it be getting patients back, and all of this rests on the confidence that one is able to create by creating a more holistic infrastructure care. And if you were to look at it, on one hand you have all the government set up COVID care structures, shutting down because they're not even getting 50% pull through. On other hand, you're seeing people that are seen as very good quality care providers. They are full, and you're not able to get beds in those kind of hospitals at all, right? So this kind of dichotomy fundamentally exists because of the confidence that those setups are able to create, and a lot of them are now on the investment mode to be able to upgrade their facilities, so that when the pent up demand and when all these cases come back, the first preference is given to them. And at the end of the day, the role of a healthcare provider is to make sure that we treat and we save lives, right? So that's the fundamental thing, and that can only happen whether it be the Ayushman Bharath scheme of things, which has seen phenomenal, kind of registrations. 12 crores cards that are issued. Balaji touched upon this. Over almost 1.5 crore hospitalization, and more importantly, 7,500 crores has been spent on this. This is the kind of money that is involved, and all of this over the last couple of years, which is accelerating very, very fast. Over 23,000 hospitals that have been empaneled. Yeah. So, having said that, the other aspect also that we need to look at is, and I'll talk a little bit about this in the next page as well, is how innovative can we be with business models. So historically, and we've seen in many other industry, right? So in the insurance industry, Rahul talked about that how in the auto industry earlier an auto insurance was a option, and now you cannot get a car from outside the from the showroom unless you have an auto insurance. Earlier, a home insurance product would be looked at as a corner case. Nowadays, thanks to financing, it is it is a standard that is accepted now. Even beyond financing, even as normal people, we would like to cover our homes for fire, for rioting, for any of these one-time events that can happen. So there is a growing recognition that you need to build some kind of a buffer against any shocks that can come in. And some of these innovative business models help us not only grow but also protect us from the from the shocks that we have. Right. So and all the aspects of technologies and ecosystem working together and the digital options, all of those things come into play over here. Secondly, in terms of flexibility, one of the fundamental things, a chartered accountant or your CFO would tell you, obviously you have to manage your working capital efficiently, cut down the waste, cut down the costs, or convert them into variable costs. So, there is a skin in the game. When you really need that bandwidth to come back, it is not lost completely, but at the same time, it is linked more and more to revenue. So it's very important to keep those the expertise or the capacity that you have, but at the same time convert it into variable and work really hard on the receivables. It's a management thing. See how much of a support that you can get from payables in this environment. Everybody's struggling with it. But now as things ease, it's all the more important to make sure we are very, very clear about, doing the basic things on time, collecting money on time, working with, vendors and so on. And really evaluating
the operating cost models versus the fixed investment models, right? So the operating cost models typically are a little more, expensive than the fixed investment model, but because there is matching of cash flows, they are more in line with the revenues and the cash flow that is coming in. It gives a significant buffer to address the shocks and we know that this is not the end of it, right? So it's not like Corona is going away anytime soon. So this is something that all of us need to build into our respective revenue models and business models. And a lot of hospitals now are also on the, there are from a viewpoint of financial management, there are three options that you could take right now. One, cut down all costs, operate at bare bone levels, just survive. That's one way that one could take. Another way that people are taking is do A, but also look at upgrading yourself by putting in the relevant capital expenditure. So that when all the pent-up demand comes back, there is clearly a prioritization in terms of who gets those patients back. And more than anything is to create that engagement through these digital models, so that you have a increased level in terms of how you can touch, because at the end of the day, the engagement levels have to be created. And when you do this as a capital expenditure, there are also benefits available to the healthcare sector, where the life-saving equipment get a 40% depreciation almost. So that's a significant reduction in the tax burden. It creates almost a 10 to 12% reduction in the tax burden that we have, and provides significant capital back, right? And the other way of also looking at this is, which is the third model, is to be a little more innovative in terms of how you do this expansion as well, right? So if you take the real estate example, that's at a stage where nobody's sort of giving pricing or looking at real estate as a growth sector, given where we are and the kind of fear that is there in terms of congregating together. So real estate definitely has taken a huge beating, but this also presents a huge opportunity for the healthcare sector, because historically we would look at real estate as a purchase item, right? We would raise large amounts of money, or we would look at it as an opportunity cost for the land that is owned by folks in the healthcare industry. But that can very easily be converted in this scenario into a operating business model, whether by way of a long-term lease, which can then be converted into a purchase. So there are many structuring options that are available, and the real estate industry itself, grew, especially in the residential and the commercial sector, by this process of co-development, where the landowner and the business that is getting established, or the building that is getting established on top of that, they come together, they partner. They obviously get a share in the collections, but beyond that, they also get a little bit of a cream in the form of additional apartments, or additional revenue sharing or profit sharing, and models like this. So these are some of the things that one can do to create a lot of flexibility, yet provide for growth in the current circumstances. And last but not the least, the manpower cost, which also works as a significant cost in the healthcare industry. And in fact, it's the number one cost, right? So the specialist services obviously cannot be given up, but through the digital models such as teleradiology and telecardiology and so on, you could one could access the top talent that is available without having to commit to monthly costs or costs, which make it prohibitively expensive. But pooling together all of these expertise in an area, and there are many such solutions that are available today. Even GenWorks brings them to the fore. So these specialist services can be taken advantage of, and you can create that kind of robustness in the quality of care, in making sure that you are not bleeding and giving away all the money for providing the interest payments and the principal payments and get stuck with that, as well as looking at how you can also take advantage of the growth when it comes back. And this really, while it may be difficult to look at it right now, I'm going to share a couple of charts which show the kind of trajectory that will come, and how that will benefit the people that are ready, right? So just a little elaborating on these financial models. I'm sure all of you are aware, but just to walk you through a little number of stages on how typically these are done and what models are available. The first one is purchase. This is something that is a plain vanilla. We either put cash down or we arrange for a loan and then get into a EMI commitment, right? So that's the standard model that everybody is aware of. The second model is around lease, whereby it could be structured. It may be a little more expensive than a traditional loan, but the structure affords matching the kind of cash flows that you expect to make. So that means on a cash flow basis, on a month-on-month basis, it's very important to make sure that we have a certain amount of cash in our hand, and those are those can be used for whether it be expansion or whether it be to sustain any shocks. And there are certain flexible payment models that are available, which means that you don't have to pay principal for the next 1 year or 2 years. You just have to pay interest. So just imagine on a 10 lakh rupee loan, typically the EMI would be about 35,000. But in this model, you just pay 10,000 rupees, keep servicing the interest, and whatever money you may make in the initial phases of 20,000 or 25,000 or 50,000, the entire money you get to keep, so that you can either use that for growth and multiply it, or you could keep that just to make sure that any shocks or any unforeseen events are managed. And after a couple of years, you can get into the whole model of principal repayments and so on, right? So those kind of structures are available. Balloon payments and moratoriums. This is more to structure, again, to give flexibility in terms of when you really need the cash, you have it, and when you have made enough money, you can repay it. So that's another model that's existing. Structured debt, or some of the pay-per-use models also that are available. There is a minimum take or pay kind of guarantee model, and then you share a little bit of a revenue or an upside from that, or you get into a straight revenue sharing arrangement with with ability to sort of get that support, but also look at it as a partnership with whoever is your partner, whether it could be the equipment provider, technology solutions provider, or financial, right? Co-development I talked about. Strategic partnerships is again one thing which currently the private equity players are looking at. The financiers are supporting that, where you really have an opportunity to tie up with a larger player, given that this is not possible, in the current situation, it's not possible to go it alone unless you have the ability to provide a holistic care, solution to the, patients. It's better that there is a kind of a partnership that is established either with a larger player, or a business combination, or a merger, or an acquisition that can happen, or a strategic investment that can happen, to make sure that any support that is needed can be provided. It may result in a reduction in valuation, but the point being that if this is not done contextually, there may not be a company for valuation to exist after a year or two, right? And there are other forms like mezzanine funding, which start off as a debt, but at certain thresholds they can convert into equity. These are things that can be used as tools, to raise a little more money or get an advantage in terms of cost of funding and so on. And lastly, the equity. So these are all the models that are available. So moving on, just to support the point that I made, here is today's extract of the stock market pricing of the 3 or 4 listed companies. There are not a lot of healthcare listed companies beyond pharma, but amongst the ones that are available, here's the stock market trend over the last 6 months. The red box is how these stocks are performing over the last 6 months. And like you can see, there is Thyrocare, there is Lal Path Labs, there is KMCH, there is Apollo. The red box begins in February, right? So there has been a certain level of stock pricing. You can all see from the levels that are there. And then come March and April, across the board, everybody tanked. And look at especially the last line or the last trend where everybody is almost at their all-time high. So what this essentially means is this is not my view or anybody's view. This is how the market is placing a premium on people that it looks at as leading the healthcare charge, or showing that their ability to provide holistic care, and even in these tough times, even though the business volumes are not back to pre-COVID levels, but the kind of expectations or the share prices that they've got is above the pre-COVID levels as well. So this just demonstrates the expectation that the markets also place on folks that they look at as valuable in the current situation, and people that who they see as leading with business model innovation, with demonstration that they are ready for the challenges that the country has to provide healthcare through a robust care infrastructure, and they're enabling that. And across the board, all these folks also are very, very active from a digital outreach standpoint in sort of engaging with patients in terms of putting themselves out there, as well as showing their ability to contactless manner, in a safe manner. Safety is another key criteria that everybody looks at, right? The patients want to be safe, the doctors want to be safe, the healthcare staff has to be safe. So the necessary investments have to be made across the board, and that is what will result in the overall value. So this is the point that I wanted to make. And lastly, everybody talks about the recovery, whether it's going to be a U shape or a V shape, are we going to tank and come back strongly, how that's going to work. And more and more you hear this term called the K shape, and essentially what that means is once the dip has occurred, there is going to be a divergence in terms of how people are going to come back, and we're seeing this in the stock markets and in the companies that are coming up as well. The people that have a higher quality infrastructure for treatment are going to see this as an opportunity, and they're going to have more streams of revenue. They are going to have more, both COVID, non-COVID, screening, diagnosis, everybody coming to them, and where they're able to demonstrate a better clinical outcome and safety of patients. So there's going to be a segregation in terms of people that can deliver this. And also the innovative business models of creating more revenue lines in digital outreach is going to attract a premium. While the entities that have a status quo or do not, or go opposite of the digital outreach or not have them, are going to go down. So this is the K-shape recovery that everybody talks about, that the better are going to become better and better, the good are going to become better, and the people that are not going to step up are going to get worse and probably get forced into oblivion. So with this, I'd like to take a pause, and we can talk through any of the questions. And once again, I'd like to thank everybody for their time on a Sunday evening to listen to this, and thank you to the organizers.
Yeah, so thank you, Kiran. I think we brought out very important points. The whole discussion today on insurance is about the compelling need for the patients to have insurance, the hospitals to ensure, hospitals, nursing homes, and the healthcare community, the delivery community to influence people to taking at least some form of insurance, or leverage the government insurance. And for all of this, it's very important that there is a need for building some basic level of infrastructure which needs money. And people who are investing today very clearly, are not investing, without a view for return, because certainly there is some form of payment available for the services we provide. It may be as what we may think, is not, what we want or what we would have loved to have, but by optimization, that's where truly the leverage of financial thinking, financial view comes in. Where how do we leverage our balance sheet? How do we leverage our ability to invest? How do we leverage our ability to go light on our assets, and how still we'll be able to provide all those services to be able to provide healthcare at this time of need for the patients. And all of this holistically is going to provide growth, which is what is seen by the turnaround that we are seeing in the industry. The healthcare infrastructure need is certainly going to go up, and obviously this is the best time for where infrastructure is, like the metro and tier 1 towns, to rebuild, to optimize, and for where there is hardly any in tier 3, tier 4 towns, to totally look at building. But both of them have to look at it very differently. The new normal certainly is not how we would have wanted to do it in the past, but it certainly is going to bring in a lot more efficiency, and efficiency is going to bring costs down and improve quality of care. And this is exactly what all of us want to deliver, holistically. So thanks, Kiran, and over to the panelists and moderators.
Prashant?
So Dr. Ajay.
Hello.
Prashant said that he's got a function at home, so he may not be there.
Hello.
Prashant?
Hello. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can ask all the panelists of their view. Shivananda Gowda is so expert in Ayushman Bhava. So you can ask their opinion. Later we will take the questions.
Yeah. Dr. Shivananda Gowda, please.
Yes. Yeah. Sir, a wonderful talk by all the speakers, Mr. Rahul, Balaji, and Mr. Kiran. So just I want to a little bit elaborate on Ayushman Bharat Arogya Karnataka schemes. Like if any hospital want to take that scheme, first we have to see, just I'm speaking about the neonatal care packages, like per day how much it will cost, because the highest package in this is 7,000 per day. They will give that too if the baby is on ventilator and multiple inotropes, or if the baby is less than 1.2 kg. So that is the highest package. Next comes is 6,000 and 5,000, and the minimum is 3,000. First, every hospital we should do an homework, like what should be the cost, whether it is feasible or not. And one more thing is, initially the package used to be like full package they used to give, like meconium aspiration 75,000, if birth asphyxia like 70,000, like that they used to give. But now they are giving on daily basis, like only for 5 days they will give, and then they will reassess. If the baby is on CPAP for 5 days, they will give 5,000 per day. After that, if the baby is removed from the CPAP, again it will come back to 3,000 per day. So the package again going to go down. Just you do your homework, whether it is feasible for your hospital or not, if you are taking the government schemes and all. Because once you take, after that people will be landing up in problems, because we have faced all these problems in Gadag. Presently we started in June 2018 in the government hospital. Also I am doing the scheme. I have earned around 80 lakhs in the government hospital. So private also, other my colleagues, they are doing the schemes and all. They are facing all these difficulties. Let we come up with the questions, then we will be very specific in answering those questions. Hello? Hello, sir. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes. Shivanand.
You are audible.
Yeah. Any questions are there? Just we can go.
I have a question on Ayushman. Can
yes.
I go ahead?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Like as you said about the schemes on meconium aspiration, asphyxia, sometimes there are babies who are stuck on ventilator for a long period.
Yes.
They are like a 1,000 grammer stuck on ventilator for 1 month. He has NEC and bad pneumonia, sepsis which is not resolving. These are babies who are referred on 3rd, 4th day of life. And what does Ayushman have for them? Especially like a lot of outsourcing was discussed in today's talk as well. So you have a radiology which has been outsourced. You have a pathology which has been supposed outsourced, on which you don't have too much handle on the costing.
Yes.
Unlike if I have my own setup, then I can say, okay, he is giving something for the room rent, then I will not earn anything from pathology, it is okay with me. I won't earn anything from pharmacy, it is okay with me. But if it is outsourced and radiology person says nothing doing, like, this much I have invested, so I have to get the returns back, and I cannot charge less than this much in pathology or in radiology. So considering all these things, is Ayushman in newborn care really cost effective, affordable, and worth the headache? Because a patient who maybe if you have 15 patients for Ayushman, then they are like any other private patient as well. The same amount of headache, the same amount of counseling is to be done. If the patient dies, then same amount of problems can be there. It's not that Ayushman is free of litigation, despite minimum charges which they give. You still somebody can sue you for a problem which he faces. So is it worthwhile, and how do you maximize the payment from that? What is your experience as you have been
Yes,
using
sir.
it?
Yeah. So one thing is, if we keep all the beds for the schemes, it is a loss for the hospital. So we have to keep minimum bids, because from this, whatever they given package, nothing we are going to earn. So it is like a social service only, because there is lots of headache is there, because lots of documents has to be collected, and we have to upload the documents, and daily notes has to be written. For example, you asked a question like the baby going for ventilator for 1 month. So once the package amount is over, they are going to tell it is, then chronic package is there, that is 3,000 per day, which is not feasible. 3,000 per day keeping the baby on ventilator, which is not feasible, after, because 1,20,000 package is over. After that, the government people are telling like the package is over, again you have to shift to 3,000 per day. So in this area we have to work out, we have to take consideration of the private practitioners, private neonatologists, and we have to see this scheme, little bit changes has to be done. As you told, sir, there is a difficulty in taking this package and working out. We have to take opinions from the private practitioners also, like what their view is, this cost feasible, so what are the problems, we have to relook into it. So we have to, because from my side I have written letters to the SAS director and all, we have to relook into it and all.
Like, is there any provision if I refer him to another hospital, then the other hospital can charge again? So if I have a partnership with another hospital, I keep him till the package is complete, and then I say discharge him, or
Sir, actually, the thing is the SAS people will be randomly calling the patients, and they will be asking whether the hospital persons has taken the money or not. So if you people have referred this patient, if they have called and the patient has told no, they have treated incompletely and referred, and again I have paid the money, again this SAS people, they will your hospital, they can be de-recognized from this scheme.
no,
There
to
is a
another
possibility.
Ayushman Bharat hospital only.
Yeah.
So if like my and your hospital, if you both have Ayushman Bharat, then first 15 days I had the baby, then I refer the baby. He goes to your center, and a new Ayushman paper is made, and he pays for 1.25 lakh again at your hospital. Is that possible?
No, sir, not possible. Once it is over, for that disease and that scheme, it is over, sir.
Okay. So I have not. I have a nursery for last many years, but we have not taken Ayushman for this reason. But there is a lot of pressure from CMO and local ministers to take.
Yes, sir. You have to do your own homework, sir. What is the cost of your this thing per day? How much it will cost? Everything. So for that you can keep 2 or 3 beds, because because if you keep for everything, all will become the scheme. So, and there will be lots of problems, and after that repairment will not be done immediately. Sometimes it takes 2-3 months. See, since the COVID has come, no private hospitals have been repaired for this Ayushman Bharat scheme and all. So 2 months non-payment, and you are running full whole beds on this scheme, hospital will be in loss.
Okay, thank you for this.
Okay, okay, sir.
I have there was one panelist who had talked about insurance. So
Yes.
for him, I have a question about staff insurance. We are not finding any insurance company which does insurance of all our staff. We have a staff about 500 in our hospital, almost 600, and none of the insurance company was willing to do insurance. And they said, okay, if we do it, we will not allow treatment in your hospital. You have to admit in another hospital, if they want to get treated. So is it so?
No, sir. Star Health Insurance is there for the staff people and all. So since I have having Star Health Insurance, so I have been treated in a private hospital and all. So
Okay.
for the staff, there is a Star Health Insurance is there, sir. They are taking in the same hospital only.
Okay. Okay. And the other thing about insurance is, like we have, there is the medical indemnity insurance. Some people say, why do you pay so much for medical indemnity? You have a LIC insurance, or which costs too less. So what is the difference between having a LIC or similar insurance as compared to insurance by medical indemnity and about fire? And as you were talking about the Armory case, where so what is the best insurance thing which your hospital should have?
So about the staff insurance and all, so it depends upon like which is feasible. Like here in our Gadag, we feel that Star Health Insurance is good.
No.
It depends
I'm
upon.
talking about the hospital insurance now, like for insurance against fire, insurance against earthquake, insurance against some other natural calamity.
Yes, that I don't have idea, sir.
I think Rahul, if you can answer this, and also I think if there are questions for Rahul, Rahul will be leaving in a few minutes. So if you can please kindly prioritize if there are any questions for Rahul, from Ideal Insurance, he'll be able to answer, and then probably we can continue the discussion.
Sure, thank you. So to answer your question, sir, first the question you raised about your employees' health insurance. So yes, it's a problem for hospitals to get their employees covered, uh, uh, and especially get treated in your own hospital because of the high claims ratio in the industry, right? So if your claims ratio remains high, you will not find any insurer taking your case. Okay, so you have to work out a structured product where you can control the claim. So it is very difficult to explain you right now, but you may take my contact details and we can guide you. But this is a problem across the industry because of the high claims ratio. And it is not with one insurance company, it is with every insurance company. Second, LIC is a totally different thing. It's a life insurance cover, whereas a medical indemnity is basically it covers any kind of lawsuit that is filed against you, or any kind of damages that you have to pay as a hospital owner, right? So, for example, again taking the case of Amri, so because of the patients who died, there was a legal case against the owners of Amri, and they had to pay a lot of money to the people who died. So your indemnity policies, they cover such kind of damages and compensation that you have to pay, right? LIC is for your life insurance, which is a totally different subject. I hope I am able to answer your question.
Life insurance is clear, but like if we have a fire in hospital, then which insurance company will repay for the fire losses due to fire or earthquake or similar some calamity?
For fire insurance, you can take a fire policy from any of the general insurance companies, which covers all your assets. Okay, so which covers the building and equipment and everything. So that is covered in fire insurance.
Okay.
Rahul, there is one question for you. Why in the medical industry, neonates are not covered in any insurance other than Ayushman Bhava? Suppose, see, now I am a middle class
What
person.
is not covered? Sorry, what is not covered?
Neonatal health.
Neonatal. Okay.
Newborn, just delivered baby, neonatal health. Suppose if the baby is premature, only in Ayushman Bhava, say, I am not so poor to below poverty line. I am not so rich to come above that line. So I am in between the middle line. I am neither in that nor here also. So now my first question is, suppose if my wife delivers a baby. So for all those things premature, I have to pay the money. Number one. So my question. So what is there? Any insurance is there? But I have seen for some IT people, they are going to some big corporate hospital. That IT companies are insurance cover is there for that neonate also for some amount. That is one question. Is there anything is there? My second question. So Balaji was telling, and my other third speaker was also telling, and you are also telling. What? Hello?
Yes, I'm listening. Please carry on.
Okay. So for the middle class people, it is insured. There is a insurance. It is working. It is like an Ayushman Baba, but you have to enroll in it. How to enroll in case if it is there? Because where I am planning to start an hospital, it is in the rural setup such that I can create a what is that environment that everybody will look and come for the minimal amount for the this thing. I don't know, because in the rural area many people doesn't have the this thing. What is that insurance cover?
Okay.
This is my two questions, Rahul.
So to answer the first question, neonatal cover is not covered in individual policies because the moment a kid is born, the kid is there in the hospital, and there are some charges which are associated for keeping the newborn baby in the hospital. So it is a sure shot claim for the insurance companies, right? So even maternity claim is not given by most of the insurance companies. Some insurance companies have started giving 25,000, 50,000 rupees of maternity cover, right? So this is the reason neonatal is not covered in most of the individual policies. Now, when you take a policy under a corporate, let's say you take the policy from as a part of hospital and you cover all your employees, then whatever your limit is for the maternity claim, that can cover neonatal. So group policy is a customized policy, but even there the amount of cover is not huge. It is normally a maximum of 1 lakh rupees inclusive of the maternity policy, right? So this is the industry system. Uh, in future, there may be some companies which may come with neonatal covers. For example, previously prenatal defects, birth defects were also not covered, but now IRDA have told the insurance company to start covering prenatal cover. Previously, any kind of mental illness or depression related issues were not covered. Now now IRDA has directed the insurance companies to cover them, and also, for example, Ayurvedic or other alternate treatments were not covered. So it's a matter of time. This might be covered in future, but as of now, this is not covered because it's a sure shot claim. The moment there is a birth, there is a claim, right? So that is why the insurance companies don't cover it. For the second part, I'm sorry, but I don't think I'm the right person to answer that. So it depends on your region, what the government has policies, for your region. Okay, so it's not about middle class or lower middle class, but it depends on whatever your local government is. Apart from Ayushman, a lot of state governments have their own health insurance program. So you need to find out from there itself. I don't think I'll be able to answer that. If
Okay,
there's
Balaji,
anyone
you have
answer.
anything for the middle class people, like if they are not below poverty line, for them, is there any insurances are there?
Yeah. So there are tons of insurance. There are 30 insurance companies in India who are offering health insurance policies, and fortunately, health insurance is still not very expensive in India, right? So you can approach any of the health insurance companies for a good cover. There is ample insurance cover available for middle class people. So assuming a average age of 35, 40, husband, wife, two kids, for a 5 lakh rupees cover, you can easily get in 8 to 10,000 rupees per year, which is pretty decent.
Yeah, sir, sir, just to add to that, sir, what Rahul is, sir, just to add to what Rahul was saying, sir, this missing middle scheme, for expanding the Ayushman Bharat to a private, self-pay model, it was launched 1 month back. So it's already available as a scheme. Policies are available, and there are certain, I think, companies which are insurance companies which are just coming up with the insurance policies for covering this. So I can provide more details, sir. I can get the details of which all insurance companies have started covering that. It is already there in Ayushman Bharat website also.
Sir, one more thing, even this Ayushman Bharat, if they have above poverty line APL card, 30% the government will pay. The 70% has to be paid by the patient.
No, it is there. It is there
It is there, sir. 1.5 lakhs per annum, whereas for BPL card it is 5 lakh per annum. For APL card 1.5 lakh per annum, 30% the government will pay and 70% the patient has to pay.
So, but why Ayushman people are rejecting
Because, sir, 30% what I told, no, this is not the whole bill. Like it is the package of the 30% of the package. For example, the package is 50,000 and the bill is 2 lakhs. They will pay 30% of 50,000, not the 30% of the 2 lakh. So 30% of the package they will pay.
Raghavendra, switch off ಮಾಡಿ phone. Raghavendra.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Am I audible? 30% of the package the Ayushman Bharat government will pay. 70% the patient has to pay.
Okay. So why, if it is so, Ayushman Bharat, now COVID mother has come. She is positive. Ayushman Bharat is covering the mother, but baby is negative. But baby is premature baby, but they don't have BPL card, so they are not going to cover even the baby. Why so?
Sir, if the BPL card is not there, they are not covering, sir. BPL card is a must. It is the must criteria for to cover under Ayushman Bharat. For
also
whole.
30% they are not giving.
So 30%, because most of the hospitals they are not taking APL cards because it is a loss for them. So they are taking only patients with BPL card.
Okay. It's like that. Insurances. So Balaji for question. Balaji and Rahul. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I think so. Balaji and last speaker. Please, one small question for you people. See, actually, the last speaker, the question is like this. Number one, as a financial, as a CA prospective, do you think Ayushman Bharat is giving after, see, as Dr. Shivana Gowda was telling, 4 months, 5 months, they have not given the bills. But people are treating for the number sake or some rotation wise. Or people are taking that Ayushman Bharat, at least something rotation will be there. But even after 4 months, if they don't give money, is there any method to collect from them? Number one, Balaji, our last speaker. In case if they cannot, please Shivana Gowda, you can start if they don't answer. Number one, or really, if I am a beginner in the hospital, do you think it is feasible? For Balaji and the last speaker, as a financial perspective.
Balaji, do you want to take that?
Yeah. So, so regarding the what you are asking is regarding the delay in claims, how to collect the money.
Yeah, how to collect the money, and is it feasible for the hospital? Because we cannot go behind them to collect the money.
Correct, sir.
Does bribing work there?
Sir, how to collect the money? I think Dr. Shivanand Gowda is the right person to talk. And also on the feasibility, like Dr. Shivanand Gowda was saying, see, I think the feasibility will come only when you have certain beds allocated for Ayushman Bharat, because on one side you cannot say no, and also you have to treat the patients. On the other side, you have to keep your options wide open. So definitely, Ayushman Bharat is something which every hospital should empanel, but on one side you can mix and match the number of beds for reserved for Ayushman Bharat. On the other side, like I said, have multiple models to bring down your costs. Still deliver a good quality care, but have multiple models to bring down the cost. This is the way to make it feasible. A lot of hospitals are making it feasible, sir, by working out various ways. But definitely, I would agree with Dr. Shivan Gowda on doing the homework. How many patients, what kind of patients, what investments you require, how to repay for the investment. So all this homework has to be done before getting into this. But over the claims, how to get the claims which are delayed, that I am not sure how I can answer the question.
Sir, one thing, as a beginner, what I prefer is don't take the schemes. For example, Ayushman Bharath, because it is very difficult to run. If you are a beginner, because once it is a running hospital, it is easy. But if you are starting a new hospital, it will be very difficult for you. And now the validators have become very, very strict. For example, package is sepsis package. Now they are thinking blood culture is negative. So they are reducing the money. For example, 5,000 is there. See, sepsis, blood culture is negative. So only if the CRP is positive, they are not considering. Some validators are becoming very, very strict. They are not
So
giving the required money also.
should we have a friendly pathologist who gives a blood culture positive report?
अमित जी वो गलत है, अमित जी वो गलत है, नहीं उन्हें बोलने दो शिवानंद, please go ahead.
Yeah, sir, one thing is, see, it is very, very difficult to treat and all, because culture negative babies will be there, and who are clinically, because they can't see the babies, only what we write the notes and what we upload the reports, depending upon that they are giving the money. And some validators, they are straight away rejecting, and they don't have control. The validators, some validators, even the SAST director also not able to control them. Even I have called Dr. Manjunath, who is the SAST director, and the regional consultant, Dr. Denge, Belgaum division, and the regional coordinator of the district. They don't have any control over the validators. What they decide, that is the final. So sometimes it becomes very, very difficult. If the validators, even the consultants speak to the validator, they will tell, we will give this much only. Whatever you want, you go. If you don't want to take the scheme, don't take. Sometimes they will be rash and all. So we have to convince them, and it becomes sometimes difficult, because 3,000, if you are treating a sepsis baby, it is very, very difficult. And along with that, you have to give accommodation for mother and food. So beginners, it is difficult, and also how to get the money. For example, 4 months you have not got the money. For example, 4 months you have earned around 20 lakhs, you think, and you have not got the money. Again, you have to take all your documents. You have to go to the SAS director. You have to go to the financier there in Bangalore. You have to sit with them, and you have to negotiate whatever they tell. So that is real. The reality I am telling.
By negotiation. What do you mean by negotiation?
It depends upon them, sir. So whatever you show, you use your political influence, whatever is there, you speak with your local MLA, speak to them and ask them to give the money. These all problems are there. Because initially they will tell they will give the money, because after that there will be a problem. So you should have political influence also to get the money back. So this is the reality I am telling.
Can I share something about this thing? Sir, can you hear me?
Heli Raghavendra.
Hello. Sir, good evening, everybody. Sir, I'm managing with this same scheme for the last 5 years. Sir. Basically, I've admitted more than 1,000 babies in my private NSU with the
Sir, Raghavendra,
with
sir,
the
your
same
video, we need your video.
Video, sir. Okay. Can you see my video? Can you see my video?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, sir. But it is blurred.
Yeah. Sorry for that. There is some interruption, but I definitely want. Yeah, sir. Basically, what is the issue? I just want to tell regarding this scheme. See, we started initially with the 10-bedded NI. We have run proper over. In that, basically, we used to admit only 2 to 3 maximum cases under this scheme. And the other 7 babies will be usually done in. Dinakar, sir?
We are hearing, but your
hearing,
signal
sir,
is
hearing. We are hearing.
It is cutting.
Yeah. Sorry for that. I was in the hospital, sir. Sir, basically, I just want to share that how things went good for us. we planned proper homework. Initially, out of 10 bed, we have kept only 2 to 3 bed for this Ayushman scheme, and 7 baby will be general cases. So we used to run our most of our running costs really used to be coming out of with the general babies. But what about the three patients? What Shivan Gowda has discussed? Initially, it was a package scheme. So we used to get a good amount properly, and there was no issues, and documentation was going smoothly. But after few days, the government started cutting down the things into the package. Every day now we are getting 5,000, hardly 5,000 package, 3,000 package, or whatever 7,000 package. So again, working problem is whatever Shivan Gowda has discussed. Same thing we are facing, sir. So finally, the evaluator is screwing us for small things. So definitely there is a headache in this Ayushman Bharat. There is no second thought in that. But what basically I suggest you is for a social cause and for running your NICU as a routine. So only this Ayushman Bharat is going to help. As of now, I have not found any more profitable in taking the scheme, but government is forcing you to take this scheme. So
Yes, sir.
as a
Why government is forcing, sir?
sir, there is a actually yeah. Basically, see, ours is a multi-speciality hospital. If you are taking schemes in the other like surgery or other thing, they will also ask you to take in this MCH also. So if now presently we have taken NPARDL to Bala Sanjeevani, initially now it is Ayushman Bharat. See whatever is there, sir. What I feel personally is for a running cost it is okay, but it is not a profitable scheme as of now. So basically you have to do proper homework and you have to think twice before taking any baby, because once you admit the any preterm baby and package is only 50,000 and patient bill is 3 lakhs, then you are going to definitely land up in a problem. So definitely homework before taking any baby, and you should know the relatives background, and definitely and coming to whatever is how to get money from the Bangalore or whatever is their scheme. Sir, almost 1 crore was my due was there initially, sir. So we need to send our PROs or managers as and of now. And finally, we need to use the political pressure and we have to do some other shortcut also to get back the money. This is what I face. But I am happy that I have saved more than 1,000 babies and I have admitted so many babies under the scheme. And definitely it has benefited. There is no issue of benefiting the patient. But what about the hospital is definitely it got a goodwill to the hospital. So our admission level have improved. Even in the crisis, something COVID crisis, I've admitted more than 60 babies per month in our NICU. This is my experience with this scheme, sir. But as of now,
Sir, one more thing. What I have, sir, Manjunath sir. Yeah, what I have written letters and suggested to the SAS director is kindly involve NNF president and secretaries while making the scheme amounts, like what packages should be given, what should be involved, all these things, because they are more experienced. They are more experienced. Neonatology president and the secretaries take their opinions and about the package amounts and how the validator should be done. Even I have written letters to them also, because these government scheme people, what they think, they will take some government doctor who has no idea about how the private NICUs will work and they will fix the amount. So they have to, because the scheme has to be taken by the private hospitals. We have to take into consideration of the private people also in making this scheme package amounts. So this is what from my side, I have written letter to the SAS director, and also once again we have to relook into the schemes, because so many babies are surviving because of this Ayushman Bharat scheme in our North Karnataka, because this is the only way to reduce neonatal mortality rate. Ayushman Bharat scheme in neonatology, if we want to reach single digit neonatal mortality rate. Otherwise, we are not going to achieve single digit neonatal mortality rate.
Sir, our last speaker, I think so in a financial perspective, he was telling in a beautiful way. So in the last slide, he was telling about financial ballooning, financial EMI, only interest, and he was telling all those things. Sir, in regarding this insurances and the finances, can I know, sir, in what context you have told us for the regarding this? Because once that 2 months, 6 months, if the finance is stuck there because of this government issues, So we have taken because of the surgery or something, some other thing. So this also entangled. 1 crore rupees is stuck. So do you think as a financial, if you are a hospital financial advisor, what is your suggestions?
Yeah, so see, so far as the Ayushman Bharath, and one of the reasons I deferred that question is, I don't have experience, to go and collect money for Ayushman Bharath because of the technicalities involved. And like Mr. Shivanagowda was saying that, like in any government process, the first thing that you have to take care is to make sure that all your documentation is pakka, and the packages, and you have to do your homework in terms of whether this will work for you or not work for you. And like Mr. Raghavendra also mentioned that the benefits of this obviously are saving lives, and it also has brought goodwill. So there is the evaluation whether that goodwill is worth more than the amount of loss that you will make in the Ayushman Bharat, right? So if you are seen as a facility that has treated 1,000 neonatal cases, and you have made that impact to the society, the kind of premium that you will be able to command from the 80% which is going to come from general quota is going to be a different thing altogether, versus saying that I am not going to touch the Ayushman Bharat. So that is a call that you have to take with respect to what kind of cases that you will get, and what kind of goodwill benefits, and what kind of other cases that you will get from that standpoint. The second aspect in terms of losses is the evaluation whether it is just a uh, you know variable cost that you're recovering, that means the consumables and the direct cost that is recovering, or is there some cost that is coming which you would have anyways incurred. So if you didn't have the patient, you would have to spend some money on that bed whether or not you have a patient. So is there some amount of recovery that is coming from that, from a pure financial perspective, right? So that is clearly recovered. From a insurance standpoint, Ayushman Bharat, like Dr. Raghavendra was saying, that it is a portion, and Dr. Shivanagowda also allude to this, that you have to do the homework. If I have 10 beds or 100 beds, how much of it can I give an allocation to Ayushman Bharat? That is clearly the the calculation or the understanding that you have to go into your business model in deep and understand what you can really afford and what is the benefit of that and how much you can allocate to that, what that will give you, right? From the general cases, the insurance is not just restricted to Ayushman Bharat. The private insurers also are playing in a big way, where, like Mr. Rahul was mentioning, that for a family of four, for 8 to 10,000 rupees, you can get a cover of almost 2 lakh rupees, right? Anybody can go and buy that. And when you have that kind of amount that are being talked about, that can bring a significant amount of volume. It can create a significant amount of affordability. Now combine that with financial products where somebody walks into your hospital and you make them tell you whether they're typically this happens in all the large hospitals, and that's how they're able to deal with it. They'll say whether they have an insurance with them or not. And even at the level of OPD, if one is able to create an awareness to say that this kind of a package is available, so when some emergency strikes, it becomes an easier thing. So the point over there is, because you're seeing so many patients, not all of them are critical. So if you have 1,000 patients come in, maybe you will have 20 patients of them that will come in a critical manner. And I'm talking about including OPD, including the various touch points that you have. And when you get private insurers and private financiers also to come in, it becomes a much more affordable proposition for them at the levels that even you can afford. That is the point that is being made, and not to say that 100% of your beds have to be only Ayushman.
Yeah. So, Dr. Dinkar sir, just a small point if we can add, if you allow me to add.
Please.
Yeah. So the whole discussion is hovering around one common platform, sir, which is how, with all of this, that what is available today, not just restricting to insurance, or not just restricting to government insurance, which is Ayushman Bharat, or whatever that is going to come. This whole insurance in healthcare itself is evolving, and the whole, but there is a level of standardization of care which is expected. So now Kiran's Kiran's point of view was more around, are you going to move away from that? If you're going to move away from that, you are not able to. If you're not going to have a basic level of facilities in your hospital, which is infrastructure in your hospital. Obviously, you cannot do any patient, whether it's a paying patient or a insurance patient or a government patient. So now, if we are able to provide those services, if you're able to make sure that it is variabilized, it's not heavy on your balance sheet, and it's not going to stress your monthly payments. If you're able to overall manage the overall financials, our ability to provide an holistic service, and in that, one of the streams is Ayushman Bharath. So that is exactly what he was trying to say. It's about a overall leverage of what we can do, as a finance person or as a CA. Is it? Are we going to be in a position to say no? We're not going to do this. That's not what you want to do. Are we in a position to say that how we manage cash flows better, how we manage our investments better, and also take some of these patients and holistically provide goodwill and good care? That is the whole purpose of why he's bringing in all the elements that can make the enterprise successful.
Yeah, Ganesh. Yes, Ganesh, what you are telling is correct. See, it is together we are taking. There are so many insurances are there. So many other insurance people are also there. They are also walking in. But one thing is, if it is a rural area, see, there is a lot of some hospitals in the city. They are never even entertained that Ayushman Bharat. See, even so big hospital, cardiology, one hospital in Bangalore, it is periphery of the Bangalore. Now it is almost in the Bangalore only. Okay. Previously, they used to have 4, 5, 6 crore rupees, this thing. Now also 6 crore rupees because of corona patients. So they were telling clearly they don't want this Ayushman Bharat. So even the big guns were only telling, but they were telling all the other insurance, we are welcome. They are welcome, we are ready to treat. Like that, still in the corporate hospital in the metros, they are not even entertained even one case of Ayushman Bharat. But they are entertaining all the other Max Bupa. Take any insurances, any star, whatever. There are, first speaker was telling, there are n number of insurances are there. It will cover cashless. They're all entertaining corporate. Why they are not taking it? They are absolutely telling they don't want Ayushman Bharat. And now, after this corona, Ayushman Bharat people are not even stopped for 4.5 months. They have not given to my friends 5 hospital, not even a money, even with the corona patients what they have treated. If it is like that 6 months, it will be very great problem will come. Other insurances are okay. That is the reason I am taking, see, Raghavendra told, sir, 1 crore rupees, I have to be behind them. But I was there for the Ayushman. I was taking other people, and Gowda is working. Shivana Gowda is working in medical college. Raghavendra is working in medical college, and he is having one nursing home, small nursing home. It's okay for them. I don't think it is 1 crore what he had, some 10 lakhs, something like that. But it's okay for that money. It's okay. So if it is becoming 50, 60 crore, so for 60 lakhs, 1 crore rupees, it is a huge money. Absolutely. Because every month EMIs we are supposed to pay almost this thing. There is salaries we have to pay, so many other things. Is it feasible nowadays? At present scenario in the corona season, do you think is it feasible? I was asking. Who is in the corporate section? Who is managing both? Not in the government section.
No, correct. Absolutely, sir. We are just looking at holistically how we can manage, and one of the streams only. But absolutely, as everyone said very clearly, that it's about a clear idea of clear planning about what we can take or what we cannot take, or what we will take now, or what we will defer.
Absolutely correct, Ganesh. Previously, even Vaidehi, we used to treat 14 babies. Now, for everything, query, they have stopped from 1,25,000. They have stopped to even 75,000, and they are not giving. Even the patient input from 14, we started reducing to 7. 7. We told we don't need enough. So that is the thing.
Sir, Dinkar sir.
Yes. Yeah.
Sir, can we write a letter from the NNF and all to the SAS director and all? Kindly take our advices and we can reform it so that it will benefit most of the babies in the rural areas.
Yeah, Shivu, see one thing. The Mr. Ganesh is a fan of Ayushman Bharat. and he is having more knowledge than me and Balaji too. So they
No,
have
not
given
at all.
me
Not at all,
idea
sir.
about
I'm
that.
not a fan. I'm just saying that holistically.
No,
I'm
no.
just answering to your
Sorry to
question.
use
It's
that.
not
And
about
you are
being a
more
fan.
knowledgeable. What I mean is, you are more knowledgeable than me in that. I went to that even Shantinagar office, inquired everything we have done. But they are very adamant. What he told is, and directly, if they want money for that, they are not answering. I am telling you why I am talking in a private this thing. If private insurances are far better than this. Anyhow, no problem. I think so.
Dinakar sir, can I share something more? Can I share some more regarding this
Yes,
Ayushman
Raghavendra.
scheme, sir? If you permit me. Sir, basically, this scheme is definitely good for the middle class and lower middle class people, sir. But the people who have decided the amount, whatever fixed amount is there, that is not going to definitely benefit any of the hospital. It is not even more. It will be lesser than our running cost. So what I feel personally is, see, if you under worst part is tedious part is you have to have lot of documentation. See, Ayushman people are expecting us to write each day case sheet. Everything is scrutinized, sir. That's what even Shivan Gowda has told. If it culture is negative, definitely they are going to reduce our rates. So we had lot of worse scenarios with this things happened, sir. And next regarding that, when you in the long run, what I feel is personally Ayushman Bharat is going to benefit. What happened is initially when we started our NICU, we didn't had any scheme. So hardly we used to get few babies initially. But once we started taking the scheme, patients started coming up with more numbers. So after that, those who are affordable, we used to make them a general case. Those who are non-affordable, we used to take some other route to get the scheme. So this is how things went well, sir. So initially our admission was hardly was our bed occupancy was initially was around 20 to 30%. It went up to 80, then 100%. Now what exactly we planned is we are not going to admit more of the Ayushman babies. We are just kept around 20 to 30% reserved for that. And next comes to the management, sir. When it comes is we just follow the protocol. What minimum drugs are required? What exactly is there? We are treating with the minimum drugs, and we are trying to cut down our cost in these scheme patients. That is what we are doing. That what. And next is regarding the amounts, sir. Whatever you told. See, Ayushman Bharat is not like for only NICU we have not kept, sir. For all the surgery, orthopedics, or whatever is there, it's a multi-speciality hospital, na? So our hospital needs maybe like every 6 months, almost our coverage is more than 1 crore. That's what I'm trying to say. So to get that, what exactly we are doing is we are trying to push all the things like we need to follow properly. We need to have a proper rapport with the people, SAS people there. So what I feel personally is taking scheme is not a issue, but you should be more clever enough to manage the schemes according to your requirement. That's what is going to benefit the hospital. But you cannot run the whole hospital with the Ayushman scheme. That is what I wanted to convince all my colleagues.
Thank you, Raghavendra.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Over to you, sir.
Ganesh, anybody is having any? Amit ji, you want to ask
Yeah,
any question?
I have a query, Kiran ji. Because one of the speakers had talked about purchase of land versus lease model. So what
We
is your
cannot
comment
hear
on
you
that?
properly.
Sorry. My query was regarding two financial models. One was you purchase the land, make the hospital and run it. The other was lease model, that you lease a already built building and then you start running it. So advantage was you can run it faster. Making will take 3 years, 3.5 years, but you can make it as per your wish and regulations. So which one is better in today's time?
So in today's time, definitely, the real estate, earlier there would be a lot of premium on the real estate, where people would want to buy for, with regard to the footfalls and things like that. And given that in the current scheme of things, commercial real estate is not really that hot. Definitely a lease model is something that can work out at a much lower cost, and give you that much more flexibility. So, for example, if you have a view to operate at a certain level for the next 5 years, and beyond 5 years you don't want to get stuck to that, because after 5 years you don't know whether you'll be able to sell that piece of property or not. So definitely in the current situation where we are talking about not wanting to get stuck but still have the opportunity to grow, definitely a lease model will be something which may be more affordable as well. And you can have a 5 year or a 7 year view to be able to take out the money and to be able to go for the next level after that, or maybe crystallize this after a few years, as you see. Right now prices are soft, and people want to keep their flexibility because they don't want to invest a lot of money and then get stuck with that land. You don't know who's going to buy the security. These are the advantages of having a lease model.
Okay.
Yeah. Ganesh, over to you.
So, I think any questions?
Ganesh?
Yes, sir. If there are not more questions, I think we can wrap the session, sir. I think.
Yes, Ganesh.
Can we wrap the session, sir?
Yeah, please.
I have one query to Kiran. If I have made a hospital investing, say, about 70 crores, then other than day-to-day costs which I am getting with the running of the hospital, in how much time should I get back this 80 crores to say that it is a profitable venture? You get my query? That I am able to, suppose my hospital monthly expense is 70 lakhs. I am able to generate 70 lakhs easily, and all doctors are getting their salary and payment. But should I take into account how much money I have invested in that hospital to say that, okay, like it is a profitable venture or not?
Okay. So I'll just repeat what I could hear from your question, Dr. Amit. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So let's say you have invested, X amount of crores in building a hospital, and you are generating, let's say 70 lakhs of income, and that is covering the cost. So your question is, what amount of time should it take for you to recover this 70 crore as well as the
In addition to the running cost, should we try to generate that much amount as well, or we should just think that it's an investment and now go on working like this?
Yeah, see, fundamentally, it depends on the kind of growth. When I'm going to more talk about how investment decisions are made. When financiers or equity providers look at it, definitely they would want to take out their 70 crore or any amount of money that is going into building a hospital, and they would, depending on the kind of asset class. So if it's equipment that is being deployed, people will want to get that money out within a time of 3 to 5 years. Some technologies even faster. But if you are investing in like you said, land, if you're investing in the building, that will take up a horizon which is much longer. So it's important to see that the investment that is being put in, where is it being put in, because there is always going to be the class in which it takes also. Secondly, definitely the return for the investment has to be generated, but in the current scheme of things, what is more important is the growth trajectory. So what people will look for from an investment standpoint is whether there is growth potential in the business and the business is demonstrating growth. So they will want to be associated with businesses that are growing, even if it is not generating the 15% or the 18% return that somebody that is putting in equity will ask, or a 10 to 11% return that a debt provider will ask. So this time it will be important to then see this 70 crore has been generated using what. So you put in 10 crore of your own money, and you got 70 crore of debt, or maybe more realistic 30 crore of your own money and 40 crore of your debt. and that debt is being provided, and equity so many factors go in. But to answer your question, it depends really on what kind of shape this 70 crore has taken, and for each of those asset classes, how it goes and how the business is able to, like I said, add more revenue lines. A lot of premium will be provided on the growth that the business is able to achieve in these times. That's what people will look for. But in a traditional time, they will definitely want to see whether the business in a span of 5 to 7 years is recovering at least the amount of money that would be put in.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
Okay. So, thanks everyone. Thanks Rahul, Balaji, and Kiran for sharing your views. The whole discussion was centered around, of course, there were no healthcare doctors in the panel. So obviously, the whole discussion was from the other side as to how we can look at the evolving needs of healthcare, with the evolving revenues to pay in terms of insurance or from their own pocket, and of course with the evolving financial models, how we can holistically, from being on the other side, which is not healthcare providing, but healthcare enabling functions, how we can bring out the various aspects that a doctor should consider. And obviously he is the best judge. It's his enterprise. He knows what is best. He knows what to do and what not to do. And I think that went around very well, in this session. Thanks everyone for joining, and thanks Dr. Dinkar, Dr. Prashant, and NN of Karnataka for initiating such interesting, intriguing discussions. Obviously, all of this is going to make us more wiser, and we'll be able to make a choice that is much more informed than ever before. Thank you so much. Let's adjourn the meeting.
Thank you, Ganesh. Thank you very much. And behalf of the NNF Karnataka, really we are thankful to Genworks, Ganesh, and you are the one, you are master behind all the speakers. Okay, and you brought many good speakers. Balaji is as usual. I know him since 3-4 years, so he is also very good speaker. And thank you, Balaji. Thank you, Kiran. Thank you, Rahul. I think so. Rahul, we need your help. Many doctors might ask through Ganesh your number. How you please help all the doctor faculty and community, and they will come to you. Please help them about the insurances and for their local people. Thank you, Ganesh. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Kiran.
Thanks to all the speakers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Balaji.